Here we go, at the top of the class on a roll, and it's time to run it up, yeah you know, maxed out, put the pedal to the floor.
Hi, everybody. It's Talk to Me Tuesday. It's your girl, Anja, and today I am so excited. I've been watching this extraordinary person's journey for some time now, and his career is blossoming into so many amazing things. Not only is he an NBA in-game host, but he has his own television show. He's an entrepreneur, an entertainer. He's all the things that I love. You guys, please help me welcome my guy, Ray Hancock, aka the Hall of Fame. How are you?
Good, good. Thank you for that intro. That was amazing. Thank you so much. I
Right,
appreciate it.
you
I'm glad to
deserve
finally be
it.
here.
You deserve all the things. Okay,
Thank you.
so let's just run the tape. All right. So when
Okay.
did you know you do so many different things, right? MC,
Yeah.
entertainer, entrepreneur. How did you even put your life together? I would say, when did you know you wanted this life? Did you know you wanted this life? Like, what are we doing here? How did we get here?
So honestly, I have a background really like in music. Growing up, me and my bros, we made a lot of music. Did a lot of our own shows, promoted a lot of our own events. So I had a history pretty much in like performing, being on stage, was never really, shy in that regard. Spent a lot of time producing, writing songs. So, when we were growing up, me and my bros in our teenage year, we had a group. So we were always performing, and I would host a lot of our own shows, like showcases, hosting fashion shows, doing a lot of events at car shows, things like that. So we spent a lot of time outside. So that's where I developed my name. All my friends call me Fame. And we just spent a lot of time, honestly, just outside, just doing our own thing. So I was kind of always, on the stage, on the mic, either performing or hosting something. So I never really um, had goals to be a host per se. I kind of started out rapping, but it just kind of spiraled into this entrepreneurial journey where we were big fans of Jay-Z and P Diddy and a lot of these guys who were very talented musicians, but they also had a very big entrepreneurial spirit. So I feel like that's kind of attest to where a lot of my inspiration and motivation comes from, is just trying really to be an entrepreneur at the core of everything that we do, kind of just, trying to be our own boss and write our own ticket. So that's kind of where I started. And then I made the transition recently, probably within the past 6, 7 years or so, hosting events. Started out working with the Delaware Blue Coats in NBA G League. And then from there made the transition into, working in the arena with the 76ers, doing a lot of different events, community events. But prior to that, I was hosting
Okay,
a lot
hold
of
on.
events for different brands.
Hold on.
Yeah,
So, was the goal to be like a rapper when you were a kid?
it was, but I don't know. Like it was more, I was out of all of us, I was kind of more, I guess you could say, the business mind or the business brain. So I had a lot of talent, but um I feel like it was kind of split down the middle because I did spend so much time uh, trying to instill the business values and into what we were trying to do. So it was like I don't think I wanted to be a rapper as much as I wanted to be like an entertainment mogul, because and I'm really into music, film, television, fashion. So I kind of look at all of those things as just like entertainment. So I feel like over the years I've kind of come to understand that like entertainment is the common denominator. So it's not just about rapping, but more about like entertaining, on a high level. So that was, I mean, that was initially my goal, but I feel like it just kind of spiraled into wanting to be more of a artist executive type.
That. So, you have always loved basketball. You always knew you wanted to be in the center of the court. How did you become an NBA and NBA G League in-game host? Like, you just woke up one day and was like, I want to do that. How did you get there?
Yeah, well, I mean, honestly, yeah, I've always been a super big fan of basketball. Like, I love basketball. It's my favorite sport. I watch my fair share. Like, I think the NBA playoffs is probably the greatest thing in the world to watch as far as sports. Um, but I really, it's funny how it started because I always tell people like, this job, it doesn't help my basketball addiction at all because like I just love being around the game. I loved it, just the energy, the camaraderie, the competitive spirit of it all. So it's funny because a friend of mine, Gary, who I actually work with, doing a lot of work as a product specialist and a brand ambassador, which is also how I cut my teeth in the industry because we spend a lot of time in large crowds, sporting events, venues. I spend time at all the arenas in Philly, the Phillies arena, the Eagles arena, of course, the 76ers arena. Spent a lot of time there selling products, marketing products, working as a brand ambassador and a product specialist primarily. So, we would always be out in the field. Anywhere there's a large crowd, we'll be promoting brands like, Chevrolet, Jaguar, Sprint, AT&T, like the list goes on. But a good friend of mine we were actually working on a promotion when we met to promote a TV show called Brain Dead on CBS, which was back in probably about 2016, 2017. Me and him kind of met and kind of linked up, clinked up. He was a really good dude. It was actually my first time on television because we were promoting a TV show, Brain Dead, on CBS. So we had a chance to go on the news and do a big promotion. The TV show wasn't that great, but the experience was. And we pretty much kind of linked up. And from there, one day he actually sent me an invitation to come try out for 76ers ENT, which is essentially it's the division of the company that puts on the show when you come to the arena. So if you ever come to the arena, ENT incorporates the drum line, the DJ, all of the dancers, all of the performances. That's kind of our responsibility within not only the NBA, but the NBA G League. So a lot of the guys from my crew, they're pretty much what we used to call dunk squad. I still do call dunk squad. They pretty much run, jump off the trampolines. They're dunking, they're flipping, they're putting on a great show. So he sent me auditions to that, and I knew like that I couldn't dunk. Like I knew I didn't really stand a chance. But I was like, I'm gonna go anyway, just because the auditions were in Camden, in New Jersey, at the 76ers training complex. And me just being a big fan of the 76ers and Allen Iverson and just being a big fan of the brand overall, a good friend of mine, a DH, I was like, yo, we got to go, bro. Like, we're going to these auditions. And
how did you do?
well, I didn't do very well as far as the dunking. Like, when we got there, it was so crazy because me and him walk in and there's people running, hitting flips and somersaults and they're dancing and they're jumping off
Yeah, it's
trampolines. It's like,
incredible.
yeah, it's like all these ninjas running around and me and him just sitting there like, yo, bro, like, what is this? Like, because we couldn't do none of that, but
Yeah.
we were committed to still just kind of showing up and like participating in the tryouts. So, long story short, we had to kind of break up into groups and
Okay.
put on kind of like an impromptu performance where, each group had to perform to a song. And most of the people that performed, they were dancing, they were flipping, they were coordinating like these little shows. But when it came to our group, like I literally just got on the microphone and just like started rapping and like freestyling and like hyping up the crowd and all the people that were there at the audition. And
Yeah.
the people that were there, the judges that were there, they were just impressed because they were like, we told you to do whatever you wanted to do. Like, you didn't necessarily have to dance or flip. It was open to
Oh,
do whatever. So I guess they were impressed by just my initiative, by just taking the mic, jumping on the mic, doing my thing. And
that's
from
cool.
there, yeah, they were like, oh yeah, they were like, we need this guy in Delaware, because I live in Delaware. That's where I'm from
Okay.
originally. And they were at the time building the arena for the Delaware Blue Coats, which is our G League team. It
Mm-hmm.
used to be known as the 87ers, but it's now the Blue Coats. So they were like, oh, yeah, we're building this new arena in Delaware. you live in Delaware, like you'll be perfect for this opportunity. So from there, I went to like one or two more auditions, and like the rest was really history. Like I started working with the Bluecoats. The year that their arena was built was back in about, like I said, 2017 was my first year working with the company. And
Yeah.
then within the past 2 years, they kind of promoted me to, working in the arena with the Sixers. So, it
That
started with the NBA G
so
League, but yeah, I got the call up.
okay, so I just really love that story because like you could have never gone to the audition to start off with because you had nothing to do, but you were like, no, I'm gonna probably what, make a fool of yourself, do whatever, see, network. I don't know. What was your mind going into it? Like just to have fun?
Yeah, like I knew, like, I mean, I feel like the kind of person I am, I just kind of knew like something would come of it just by being there, just by just being in the space. Cause my whole thing was um just kind of having an attitude of gratitude because I was excited just to be going to the training facility where all the players train. Cause I mean, our auditions were literally on the same court where, Joel Embiid trained, Tyrese Maxey, Tobias Harris, like all of these guys, that's where they practice. So for me, my whole ideology was like, I'm just going really to just soak up the atmosphere, for it to be an
Because it's
experience.
magical.
Yeah, it was like I'm such a fan of the brand. I was like, I'm going regardless, like just to be in the building. And I feel like a lot of times I tell people, I try to inspire people like sometimes you just gotta put yourself in those situations. You just gotta get your foot in the door literally and then see what happens from there. But my whole attitude was like I didn't have like great expectations, but I kind of felt like because of the type of person that I am, I would make some good connections and develop some good relationships, and that's pretty much what happened.
So for people who don't know what it's like to be an in-game host, can you just describe it is game night in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. What is it like to be on that mic with what 20,000 people ready, yelling, screaming, having the time of their life, and you get to dictate things because you're on the mic. Tell these people what that is like.
I mean, it's crazy, man. It's electric, man. Philly is it's a crazy sports city overall. Like anybody that's from Philly knows that the Philadelphians don't play about their sports. The Phillies, the Eagles, or the Sixers are some of the biggest brands in sports. So it's always high energy. The fans are always there giving it up. And for me, it was kind of crazy. I had challenges my first year just because when I came in my first year, honestly, I was a rookie for one.
Mhm.
For two, I was still hosting all of the games for the NBA G League and all of the games for the Sixers. So I was doing two leagues pretty much by myself.
Wait, you
And
considered yourself a rookie even though you had been doing it with the NBA G League? You still felt like a rookie going into the NBA?
oh yeah, yeah, because I mean it's another level. It's a lot of similarities, but it's a lot of differences. Like it's
Okay.
much higher stakes, it's much bigger crowd, more cameras, more fans, more everything. So it's very, very um it can be intense. It can be intimidating to some people. I wasn't really intimidated by the atmosphere, but it was more of a challenge, like I said, just because you're learning to operate like literally on another level because you have your
Right.
G League, which is what you would almost consider semi-pro, and then you have the NBA, which is like the pinnacle of basketball entertainment. So I was definitely on another level. The stakes are higher. People are more critical of your
So
performance, of
critical.
your
Yeah.
delivery. So it is like for me, I was going into it. I went into it with it was not like I was under a lot of pressure, but just the stakes were higher. And at the time, we were also going through COVID, so I had to do my rookie season, also
No.
like wearing a mask. So I
Oh,
was
I
wearing a
hate that,
mask.
right?
Yeah, yeah, I was wearing a mask for more than the first half of the season. So I'm like screaming on the microphone, like with a mask on. So
Right.
there were challenges there as far as people hearing me, as far as being able to breathe. Like, oxygen is important when you have to scream at the top of your lungs. So it was like that COVID craziness was just a crazy way for me to kind of have my introduction into the NBA, but
Yeah.
it was just something that I overcame, just kind of rolled with the punches and tried to learn and develop as I could. Because like I said, I was still doing the G League. I did every G League game, I did every NBA game, and I was doing events outside of that, like hosting our community events and stuff like that. So like by All-Star break, like my voice was almost gone. Like I had to change a lot of my eating habits, my drinking habits. Like even now to this day, like I only really drink water and tea. I don't drink soda anymore. Not a lot of sugar. Just trying to do things to, protect my diet and protect my vocal cords because it's a lot. It can definitely be a lot, but I loved it. Loved every minute of it. You get to meet so many cool people. You're in the middle of all of these players that we idolize that we see on TV every day. They're right there. Celebrities are everywhere, and it's a type of situation where it is very humbling because everybody is really just focused on their craft and being the best that they can be. It's because I always give flowers to our team. There's like everybody just plays their part, and that's what I really admire about it is the teamwork and the camaraderie that comes together for us to put on the best show. So it's a lot, but I love it. Like I wouldn't trade it for anything. Like I said, they're not helping my basketball addiction at all. At all.
I I think to be a in-game host or just a personality host in general, your personality, it has to be true to who you are. How do you stay getting all these gigs, you're in front of all these cameras? How do you hold true to yourself, right? Like how do you make sure you're walking into a room and show up as you?
Honestly, that's just a matter of just staying grounded in your craft. I feel like one thing that's always kept me grounded is just the idea of just trying to be the best version of myself I can be. None of us are perfect. We have to learn how to acknowledge our mistakes, acknowledge our shortcomings, and take criticism. Um, that's one of the things that I feel like I've learned along the journey is to be open to advice, be open to people being critical of you and your performance, but standing on your square, knowing what you do know and knowing what you don't know, right? Like I said, I'm not a dancer, right? So I never try to be in that space where I'm trying to dance or outshine the other dancers. Like I let them do their thing. I'm more of a laid back, a little bit conservative type. Like um, I like to say I'm a little bit smooth, but I'm rough around the edges because a lot of people have really high energy. So sometimes instead of trying to compete with that, you can kind of counterbalance it where it's like, okay, if this guy's high energy, I can be a little more low key, or vice versa, right? But
Hmm.
I just try to stay true to who I am, try to always learn, grow, and develop, but make sure that I'm not pretty much trying to be somebody that I'm not, right? I've always been the type of person who's not necessarily shy, but I'm also very humble in my approach, and I try to treat everybody with dignity, respect, regardless of their position, regardless of their situation. We try to be what's called on the level, where, like I said, I'm around guys who are world famous multimillionaires, and a lot of these people they operate in a space of like grace and humility. So we try to adopt that type of mentality, that type of behavior, and just like I said, just be graceful, man. Just have fun. That's one of the biggest things I had to learn. I feel like as well, because when I initially came in, I was like, I just want to do a good job. I want to be, on point. But then you have to also remember to have fun, right? Because we work in the entertainment business. So yeah, just
I mean,
having
like, what is
fun.
life if we're not having fun, right?
Yeah, like I had to learn that, and it is a skill, like performing, entertaining, having fun, and being able to transfer that energy into the crowd of people is also important. So yeah, I would say that the biggest thing is just to stay true to who you are and just try to be better than you were yesterday.
I love that so much. All right, we're gonna do a hard pivot really quick because you're just some amazing things. You are so incredible on the court. I think everybody knows that. You have the receipts to prove it. But
Thank you.
You have your own show? What? What is that about? Tell us. Tell me what's happening.
Yeah, so 15 Minutes of Fame is my talk show. I'm currently still in the process of shooting it, just developing good relationships with our sponsors right now. I initially started the show some years back when I was just honestly doing it sort of as a podcast, just on YouTube. And then I had to kind of put that on the back burner really initially, like when my son was born, because I had to divert a lot of time and attention to him, obviously. And then when I started working with the league, with the NBA, the NBA G League and stuff like that, I just kind of had to, realign my priorities so I wasn't spread too thin.
Mhm.
So I pretty much put it on the back burner for a while, and then just pretty much close to the end of this last season is when I did the deal with my main man Ivan Thomas from DETV, which is the primary television provider in Delaware as far as our network here in the state. So he's also partnered with Comcast Channel 28. So all of their content streams not only on DTV, but also on Comcast Channel 28. So me and him have had, I mean, I've known Ivan for 10 plus years, and he's always been like, man, we got to do something. We got to do a show. We got to get you in the studio. He has an amazing studio, beautiful studio, and it's just been like a long time coming. So we finally sat down. It was like, all right, we're going to do this. We're going to do a matter of episodes, and we're just going to see where it goes. Show. We got to get this content out to kind of enhance everything he's doing, everything that I'm doing. So the show is very exciting. It's pretty much for millennials, by millennials, talking about a lot of hot button topics, a lot of current events and things like that. But very excited, forging
What was
some
it like
partnerships
the
with some
first
sponsors.
episode, the first time? Like, what was that like being on set, which is a beautiful set, like gorgeous. Shout
Thank
out to
you.
you. What was that like? First time being there with your guests and everybody. Tell me.
It was like it was another one of those things where it was just like, we just got to do it. Like I wanted to do it at a high level, but I didn't have any expectations for it to be perfect. I feel like with most things, the more you do it, the better you get. So the first episode is kind of like, all right, we're kind of like getting the kinks out, we're getting our swagger right, trying to figure out the tone and the overall theme of the show, right? Like, is it going to be serious? Is it going to be comedic? Is it, there was a lot of things that I feel like will happen organically the more that we shoot. But the first episodes were amazing. I had some amazing guests there. Great, good friends of mine, good people I've been collaborating with over the years. For this next set of interviews, we're trying to bring in some even bigger names, some celebrities, some people that can add a lot of value to the show. But the first episode was just like I said, with me, I don't get necessarily camera shy. So it's with me, it's just more about having an organic conversation with people about topics that are important to us in our community. So I wanted to do it just to add a little bit of substance to a lot of the content creation that's out right now, because I feel like there's a lot of fluff
Watered
stuff, as we
down.
call yeah, a lot of silly content. So I wanted to do it on a level where it's laid back, but it also speaks to our generation and the things that are important to us. So it was amazing, man. It was great. Had some great guests, got great sponsorships, and we're just trying to go up from there.
What's your I made it moment?
I made it moment. Oh, that's funny. I mean, last year was a great year for me. Like I said, I've been, working with the Sixers, which was definitely a blessing and a validation to be a part of something that's bigger than yourself, and um, be a part of a culture that's just, so huge. It shows your worth overall. But I also had a great opportunity in film just this past year, where I
On
had a
Netflix?
small cameo. Yeah, yeah, with Hustle on Netflix, which was really crazy because within the movie, Adam Sandler, he said like my real name in the movie. So a lot of people that I grew up with and know, they were just like, bro, like this is crazy. Like Adam Sandler said your name in the movie. And for me, like it's crazy because I don't want to say it wasn't a big deal to me, but
Mhm.
it was, like I said, very humbling because I'm on set with, Adam Sandler, Tobias Harris, all of these people who are like world famous. And it's just like, with me, I think the reason why Adam kind of gravitated towards me in that experience is because he knew that I was a true fan of the craft, not only the craft, but
Mhm.
the sports business. And even, in that moment when I was on set, I was there like soaking everything up because I'm in the gym, Tobias Harris walks in, Trey Young walks in, Boban walks in, Aaron Gordon walks in, who's the recent NBA champion. Like all of these athletes are walking in the gym, and I'm in there like, like, let's go. Like other people, a lot of the background extras, they don't even know about basketball. Like they're just
Right,
sitting
right,
there.
right.
And I'm in there like, you know what I mean? Like I'm lit because like I love these dudes. I love the culture so much. And I feel like he kind of just could see that in me, that I was genuinely appreciative of the experience. And for me, like I said, it's just really, soaking in the atmosphere, soaking in the vibrations from everything that's going on. So a lot of people, they look at it like some super big thing, which it is. I mean, it's a great opportunity. It was a big deal. He didn't have to acknowledge me, let alone say my real name in the film.
Right.
But for most people, they look at it as kind of an incredible accomplishment because I'm just, a kid from Delaware, a small state just trying to do big things. So to make it on the big screen, seeing myself, in the movies and on Netflix, that was very rewarding. But it was also, a little kick in the butt, a little inspiration for me to, um, follow my dreams and pursue my goals as far as working in television, working on TV to take it to the next level. So I don't really look at that as an I made it moment, more of just another stepping stone to get to where I want to go. But it was definitely, I think, an achievement worth noting.
Love that for you. So
Thank you.
you already kind of touched on that, like within the 2 seconds you just said, like this world is hard, entertainment is hard, sports is hard, life is hard. What are your challenges? How do you overcome these challenges? Like maybe like what's something that like didn't go right and you were able to be like, you know what? I'm gonna keep pushing forward towards my dream that's so odd in like, maybe normal society. Because you do live a life that's outside of the normal book. So do you ever wish that were living in like a normal world? Talk about it. Struggles, how'd you overcome?
Yeah, it's always a little bittersweet because there are many challenges when you don't have a traditional schedule. It's like, I don't work a 9 to 5 job, so it's not like I just punch a clock every day. It's like when you are an entrepreneur, um, there's never a dull moment. There's always something to do. Like my mom and my family, a lot of times they ask me, like, are you working today or whatever? And I'm like, I work every day. You know what I mean?
Every day.
Because
Every
yeah,
day.
I don't have like too many days off because I also have a creative arts studio in Wilmington, Delaware as well called the Academy. So when I'm not dealing in entertainment or working as a product specialist or working as a brand ambassador, running that business. And then, of course, I'm a father as well. So I have to designate a lot of time to being with my son. And, the biggest challenges I would say is just really time management, and then also making sure you are aligning yourself like with the right people. Like you want to stay away from haters or people that don't really see your vision or support your vision. You want to make sure, you can give everybody your respect, but you can choose your friends. You can't choose your family, right? So you want to make sure that you're operating around people that get what you're trying to do, like-minded individuals. I feel like is a big key in this business because everybody's not going to get it. Everybody's not going to understand it, or appreciate it for that matter. So the biggest thing I think is to, like we mentioned earlier, stay true to yourself. Make sure you're constantly working on your craft, evolving, just being the best version of yourself because everybody's not one thing I learned is everybody's not going to get it. Everybody's not going to support. But you have to really be your biggest fan, your biggest inspiration to get up every day and do what you got to do. I try to stay motivated even when I have those moments when I may feel down or I might not feel as motivated as usual. I just try to count my blessings, put things in perspective, realize, I have my health, I have my wits about me. So, even in those moments where you are discouraged because you feel like people might not like you or people might not believe in you, you just got to show up and, be the best version of yourself because everybody's not going to get it. Like, especially in the entertainment business, because it is tough. And, people like yourself, right? Like you want to be aligned with those people because they're so occupied trying to be the best versions of themselves. They don't have time to hate or be critical or constantly try to put down other people, right? Yeah, like they just
They're
don't
too
have
busy
it.
getting their own.
Yeah, and that's you want to be aligned with those people, and we're all imperfect people. It's not to say that people are bad for not necessarily seeing the vision, but you can't project your goals onto other people. Everybody has to take their own path. So that's one thing that I learned. I feel like earlier in my career, I probably spent too much time around people who didn't necessarily get it, understand, or even really support what I was trying to do. So I just kind of had to make the pivot to get in the right space, to get in the right light, where it's like, okay, this makes sense to be around this guy because he gets it, he supports it. This other guy, I may know him, he may be my friend, but I may have to kind of love him from a distance and just really take time to nurture and develop those relationships. But yeah, just protect your mental health, protect your sanity, do things that you like to do, right? Like I'm not a big fan of like following the crowd. I normally have my own sense of style. Like I dress a little different. I talk different. I act different. And I try to really stand on that regardless of the pressures that come from outside, right? Because it's easy to fall into, it's very easy to fall into what's popular or what people consider normal. So being an individual and also having integrity, I think is important, being a stand-up honorable person, even when people aren't watching. These are some of the things that I feel like will give me, all my blessings in the long run because I'm respectful, I'm professional, and I try to always keep a positive attitude.
I love that so much. I think you gave us so many good life gems. You hit the nail on the coffin with all like the wisdom and last word. Yes, for all the
Thank,
life gems. Thank you. We appreciate that.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Would you like them to follow you anywhere?
Yeah, absolutely. I'm just mainly Instagram, and follow me. If you follow me on Instagram at the Hall of Fame, you can pretty much stay updated to everything that I'm doing. That's kind of like my ground zero. I have a Facebook page, but that's a little more reserved for like interacting with family and stuff like that. But yeah, follow me on Instagram at the Hall of Fame. From there, you guys can get information on the content that's coming out, information on all the gigs I'm working, the appearances I'm doing.
All right, you guys know I'm
Yeah,
already going to put
definitely.
his stuff right there in the bio. Make sure you guys like, subscribe, follow. And like I said, check my guy out. It's in the bio. And until next time, guys, we've been watching Talk to Me Tuesday. Bye, everyone.
Thank y'all. Have a good one.
And it's time to run it up, yeah, maxed out, put the pedal to the floor. Hey, on the road, here we go, yeah. At the top of the class on the road, hey. And it's time to run it up, yeah, yeah. Maxed out, put the pedal to the floor, yeah. On the road, here we go, Here we go. On the road, here we go. I got the team by my side, right hand. Yeah, take it to a string, you ain't seen it like that. Yeah, and it's the dream, and we coming for the bag. Yeah, and we ain't never going back now. Future expedited, now we on the fast track now. They won't lend a hand, now they see us on the